Okay, so this is the new steelhead bobber video because the last one, I think I like cut my head off the whole time, and every time I held something up to the camera, it was too far away. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut this line where it is, and we'll just start fresh from the beginning. And one of the things, and I mentioned on my other video that you know, I hadn't actually had any success with this rig yet, but it's because I haven't really tried it. One time so far in the Mechanicum, but old Avenue 12. But I have caught lots of steelhead on Rapalas and they're freshwater landlocked steelhead. But so the principle is you got your weight, right? And this is an arrow float, 1 ounce bobber, and they make lots of different ones, but this one I just like because of the brightness of the color, and it's a nice sleek design. It doesn't like flake off or anything. And then so you always want to match your float with the weight that's going to be below it. So what I did is I actually weighed these. This is a cooking scale. But the funny thing is that when you weigh this arrow float, and it's a 1 ounce arrow float, and you put it on the scale, it's 0.28 ounces. And I found this weight right here, which is marked with number 15. 0.28 as well. So the weight matching this is what keeps the float vertical. If it doesn't have enough weight, it'll flop over on its side, and that's not what you want. You want this to kind of be submerged in the water and floating like this. So just for the sake of the video, I'm going to put actually a little bit heavier weight in here. So this is, let's see what this one is. Yeah. And this rig will work with roe, it'll work with worms. I got these nice pink Mad River worms. It'll work with jigs. This is a jig that my neighbor gave to me, and kind of looks, it's definitely handmade. But everything, you know, you want to be single point hook and barbless out there in the rivers. So we'll start with our main line. I got a 9'6" ugly stick, and I just actually this is just a regular 9-footer, but it's a I just really love these because they're cheap and they're workhorses, and then you can beat them up and drag them through the brush and lean them up against bikes, and it's always gonna be okay. So I'll pull out some line here, and I'll show you where we start. So I got just a regular spinning reel with like some 15-pound braid, and there's actually a new braid I will talk about in another video, I guess, that I started getting. It's this line, this P line braid, and it's actually super cool. It's got these strands in it with the black and green. Kind of looks camo-y, but the line feels really good in the water, and it feels really good to cast. It's a good product. So we start with our bobber stops, and these are, I didn't understand how these worked for a long time until I actually tried it, and it's pretty simple. So they come in these tabs, and there's, I think, 5 or so on each one. And what you do is you just take the line and you just thread it through one of these little eyelets that has the bobber stop on it, and I hope this is all coming through on the video. But you just put your line through it, if I can get it, and then you just pull it on. It's like a sewing needle threader, and then you've got a bobber stop on your line. And I actually like to do 2 to start out with. So we'll go 1, and then here's the second one, and then this is the next trick that I learned. If you have, depending on which float you use, we got this arrow float. The bobber stops will go right through the center of the arrow float. So you have to put a bead on it, and I'm just gonna put a regular old salmon bead, like a red, just for the color. I got 2 out. You need one on the bottom too. So, you know, this is gonna be up, so we'll put the bead right through there. And that's Barrett in the background. He helps me out a lot in here in the garage. And then this is gonna go forward or upside down, I guess, because this is the main line here. What'd you find, bud? Oh, your bubbles? Okay, let's finish the fishing pole first, okay? And then we can play with the bobbers. Want to do that? Yeah. So here we go, and you can see how, you know, if you didn't have the bead on there, the bobber stops could probably go right through there. So now we're gonna go reverse order. So you just put a bead right on the bottom of the bobber, and then we'll do 2 more bobber stops, and same kind of deal. You got the exact same bobber stops right here. You just put it through the eye, thread it on. Oh, I got poke myself with a wire. And then I bought these off of Amazon, I think, and I think it was like I think it came with like 500, and it was like a couple bucks. So if you guys ever need any, just come on over. I got a million of them. So now what you got is the bobber sandwiched between the bobber stops, and that allows you to adjust this bobber. And like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know that you're supposed to put it your presentation close to the ground. I'll take that, but thank you. All right, beer later. So then the next piece of gear you put on underneath that is the weight, and so I got a weight out right here. So make sure this is the 2. And okay, can you put it down for me, bud? And I just do a improved clinch, or improved cinch, I guess it is. You just do the twists, put it through the first twist next to the eye of the gear. And it's always hard to tie with braided line because it doesn't have any rigidity. Is that a word? Not enough twists. So some of these inline weights are something I'm trying out. They're a little bit newer. Some people use the bananas, some people use the slinky, some people do like pencils or whatever. I just like everything to be in a line, and for less points to break. Kind of a old climbing trick. You don't want to over tie yourself in and forget, and one thing goes bad. What you got, bud? Oh, I'll get it. I'll get it for you. So now we're on the bottom end of the weight, and this is where you gotta be careful, because the rule is, gosh, I should have researched this before I started filming, but it's different in different places. Usually it's somewhere around 24 inches between the weight and your hook. Can't have any longer. So this is where you have to have the adjustable bobber, because you want to be 6 feet down or whatever the depth of your bottom is, but you can't have your weight be longer than what the regulation is between your hook and your weight. So this is where we put a leader on. I got leaders. I like to use this. I'm kind of getting into this tactical P-line fluorocarbon. I saw it on I think it was on a bottom fishing lingcod show or something, but I have loved this stuff. It's super good quality, and there's hardly ever any kind of defect or weird twist. It doesn't have a ton of memory, so it doesn't get all crimpy from being on a spool. I like it. It's good stuff. It's not the cheapest stuff, but it's definitely worth it for me. So what I'm going to do is just tie the same improved clinch onto the bottom of the weight. And this leader can be long. You don't have to measure out 24 inches. So you just leave it long, and then you just trim it when you put your presentation on. So and a lot of people will have, and if you're using a snelled hook with an egg loop, this is where you would have to tie on the other end of that snelled hook. And so you want to make sure that if you're doing all those this year and you're snelling your egg loop and your hooks, you want that leader to be long enough thing. I'm just gonna, for fun, put a jig on, and so this would be, you'd want to measure this to be 24 inches, and you can either just tie it long, and then cut off the tag end, like I'm gonna do right here. Just spin it on there, and then cut the big tail off. And just getting ready for steelhead season here. But I really do like this line, and I do like the setup. I've used it a couple of times now, and it's really great because it's super fast to adjust. I mean, if you see your bobber is hitting the bottom, or you see your presentation's hitting the bottom, your bobber will kind of just so you need to adjust and make it a little bit shorter, come up 6 inches or so, or 8 inches. So you've got your bobber, it's adjusted, your weight, and it comes down to your leader, to your presentation, whatever it is, your jig or your worm or your roe or anything. But anyway, that's just how I do it, and probably if you guys have different ways or you think I'm doing it wrong, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. But I'm just gonna keep trying. Hopefully this year's steelhead season will be better than the Chinook and silver season, because that was not very good this year. And enjoy. Hope you guys get some steelhead this year.